Greetings and welcome to the 24/7 Krogen Express Virtual Boat Show. I'm here this morning to show you 5204 Amusant, which is a Krogen Express 52 that has just been repainted with flag blue hull sides, just a few months old, the paint. Also the Brightwork's been redone with 10 fresh coats of varnish. Top sides have been nicely compounded and waxed, so as you can see, she shows beautifully for a 2006. She's just returned actually from Europe, where she spent 6 or 7 years doing the European loop and spending a good amount of time in England, and that'll be captured on our website. There'll be a nice video up there for you to have a look at as well. The engines have a little bit over 3,500 hours. They've been freshly serviced, and frankly, she's very much ready to go. With that said, let's walk through and we'll try to point out everything we love about Krogen Express. You'll notice first off that boarding from a floating dock can't be any easier with nice, large, full depth boarding gates. They're on both sides. You'll see that we have side decks on both sides as well. This is not a wide body boat, so line handling is easy regardless, so you can dock on any side. Couldn't be any easier. The cockpit where I'm standing is one of our favorite features. It's over 100 square feet of covered space. So if it's raining or too hot, too sunny, you do have protection from the elements, and we very much appreciate that. Below the cockpit is a terrific lazarette. And you'll notice that there's very little to no storage or no mechanical equipment in here. It's all storage for things like lines and fenders, cleaning supplies, maybe a couple of folding bikes. Really all the room you need on a boat this size. In the transom, we have another nice big deep boarding gate, which is great for accessing the swim platform or boarding if that's your preference. There's a hot and cold shower here, freshwater shower. Two big hose pipes at each corner, one in the transom and one in the side of the boat as well, which are great for line handling. Over here is our 50 amp cable master, 50 amp service. That's a 75-foot cord operated with a cable master, of course. There's a 110 outlet, a city water inlet, and a freshwater washdown. Our newer boats have a Fusion zone control audio system with speakers back here. This one did not have that originally, so the owner has added cockpit speakers in the overhead on both sides. It's actually a 4-zone system, so there are speakers in the Salon, in the pilot house, and on the Flybridge as well. Terrific system. I also want to point out easy access to I mentioned the wide side decks on both sides, but 2 steps up and head for the bow. Couldn't be any easier for line handling. One last thing to mention, this boat has 2 stern cameras. A stern camera is standard on a Krogen Express. This particular owner has mounted 2 up there. This one towards the starboard side is aimed more straight back, so you can see what's coming up on you when you're running in the ICW or a river. And the other one on this side is pointing more down, allows you to see your corners for docking. Pretty good visibility from up top to the aft, but the camera does help you see where the swim platform is. And certainly if you're trying to dock from the pilot house, you just about have to have a camera if you're backing in. Let's walk into the salon and I'll point some things out there. We love the big yacht quality, ship's quality doors here, the French doors. They're double wide, and they really do a great job of allowing the fresh air in and the views out. So it's again a highlight and typical of the overall quality of the boat. Keeping with the theme of allowing fresh air in, our boats have sliding windows in the Salon on both sides, so you can actually open up. There are screens you can open up, and again, you're not always having to run the generator. If the weather calls for it, open up, and wonderful to have those. On the port side in the Salon, you'll notice this boat has a pair of stressless chairs, which is fairly typical for the Krogen Expresses. Super comfortable, right size for the boat, and as you can see, there's a pair of them. Behind the stressless chairs is under deck storage. There's 2 different compartments here for storing just about anything, and storage again is a great aspect of a Krogen design. if there's a space, we're putting a door, a drawer, a hatch, some way to access it. On the starboard side, we've got a nice L settee here, and with the back cushions off, it's plenty big for sleeping. It does not convert, so it's really sleeping for one or maybe two kids. But having personally spent a number of nights on one of our settees, I can tell you it's a pretty good place, even for somebody my size. There's storage underneath the settee and even access to the side decks, mostly for service, but you can store some things back there too if you want to. The cherry high-low table raises up for dining and lowers as a cocktail table or coffee table, and the leaves also fold out, and so many of our owners have had 6 or more people in here for Thanksgiving dinner, for example. So that table's a really nice feature. And notice that it's not bolted down. The boat is stable enough that the table lives there just fine, loose. You can even pick it up and carry it out and dine al fresco in the cockpit if that's your choice. Anthony, if you can get a view of the TV here, we'll swap places a little bit. The TV is obviously mounted in a little locker here and has doors that you can close in order to hide it if you don't want to look at it. And there's storage here for DVDs and your cable box and sound system and so on and so forth as well. So all in all, a super comfortable salon, frankly. Moving forward just a little bit is our galley, and we love the fact that it's a galley up. It's part of the action. It's when we're preparing meals, we're still involved in the conversation. We don't have to go down and find our galley. It's right here. Over this way, we have a nice port light. Actually, we have port lights on both sides. And what we love about the port light, besides the fact that it provides great ventilation, it's a nice round port light in keeping with the traditional design of the boat. It contributes to that as well. We have a 3-burner Force 10 range. We love the idea that you can heat a can of soup without firing up the generator. And of course, cooking on gas is terrific. There's an oven below as well. Lots of drawer storage. People use this for storage for dishes or also as a pantry. Nice space maker microwave there. 14 cubic foot household size refrigerator here. I love this little locker above for a kind of a spice rack. It's perfect for spices and other tall, narrow things. And we have a nice deep sink over here, if you can get that, Anthony, as well. Nice deep sink and a faucet with a pull-out sprayer faucet as well. So super comfortable galley, and the owners of this boat will tell you that during their European adventures that it served them super well. Over on the port side in this space, call this a bookshelf, bookcase, or a bar. There's an ice maker, a U-line ice maker there. Slider storage here, room for decorations, tchotchkes, whatever. More storage underneath for beverages or glasses or whatever serves you. And again, super convenient aspect to the boat. The main electrical panel is right here, very handy. It's at eye level. Very easy to read, very well laid out, very simple. The DC side here, the AC side here, both 240, and it's a single 50 amps, so we've got 240 and 120 here. And this is the inverter section, which basically runs the microwave, the refrigerator, the ice maker, and all the outlets. Pretty much everything that you might need. This boat also comes with a static frequency converter or power conditioner. Because it went to Europe, he could plug in anywhere and it would convert whatever power was coming into the standard 50 amp US type service. So that's a real nice feature on the boat. I'd also like to show you what's behind here. Many of our owners have said, after seeing the backside of the electrical panel, that it is really one of the things that sold them on the boat, the overall quality of the way the yard does the electrical system. The wires are all numbered, they're very neatly laid out, and really makes for a good illustration of the overall construction of the boat. With that, I'd say let's head to the pilot house and check out the nerve center, the operating center of the boat. So it's just a couple steps up from the galley to the pilot house, the nerve center of the boat, if you will. And we love running from the pilot house. We love running the boat pretty much any time, although, frankly, the Flybridge is our favorite spot to run from. But we're going to show you the heart of things, and you're certainly going to enjoy spending time here in our pilot house. Beautiful Stid chair, of course, top of the line helm chair on the center line, and we love our custom cherry wood helm wheel as well. We consider it a work of art. The electronics on this boat are Raymarine, as you can see, and they were installed in 2012. They're running Lighthouse 2 software. These particular units, those are E127s, were still being sold maybe just a couple years ago. So frankly, it's a very current setup, and the next owner will need to do really nothing from an electronic standpoint. I think it's a terrific unit. This boat has a bow thruster, and with twin engines, that's probably all you need. The engines are 440s. I think we told you earlier they've got 3,500 hours on them, just a little bit over. The boat was equipped when we built it with Mathers Micro Commander. I frankly love this shifter. It's a single lever shifter, one for each engine with the transmissions as well, and the feel of this shifter is wonderful. Down below you've got a bilge pump panel, a whistle control panel for your Kallenberg horns, dual trumpet, beautiful, fabulous horns. People will know you're coming if you need to use it. Intermittent control for your Exalto wipers, windlass, trim tabs, and your HVAC controls as well. Moving this way just a little bit, we have the panel for the Northern Lights genset handy to the helm if you need to fire it up as you're running. A little over 1,500 hours on a 12 kilowatt Northern Lights genset. The NavCom electrical panel here, that's all 12 volts. That's really, there are a few house functions, if any, maybe your stereo. Primarily, this is the panel you use whenever you're actually running the boat. Got to point out a couple of chart drawers here. Who uses charts anymore? We hope that everybody will have some charts on board. You're all set up with a place to keep them. Nice chart table here and a chart light as well for looking at those in the evening. Up above, we have a VHF radio, and over on this side we have a second repeater mic it's a command mic or a wired mic from the upper VHF radio. Both stations are equipped with a fixed unit and a repeater from the other, so you effectively have two VHF radios for redundancy, and we also have a wireless remote for the autopilot here. Up above we have, continuing up above, we have our Fusion audio system, and as we mentioned earlier, this boat has 4 zones, which is super nice. That's an upgrade to this boat. These were not available when the boat was originally built. We have a rudder angle indicator in between our 2 Yanmar control panels. Let's move over this way, Anthony. I want to point out the Dutch door here. Everybody loves our Dutch doors, as do we. Terrific to be able to just open the top and make sure that dogs or kids stay in, or if there's a little bit of mist, it'll stay in as well, it'll spray. So the Dutch doors are fabulous. And again, they're the ship's quality weathertight door, excuse me. In keeping with kind of the overall attention to detail on the boat, I'll point out this drawer. I love to tell people about this. This could have just been blanked out. There's very little room here, but the yard puts a drawer in there, which is wonderful for storing paint brushes or drumsticks or something, cards, whatever. But it's just that kind of attention to detail, extra thought that makes a difference. The settee is elevated, the watch berth, and by its elevation and the ability to see forward, it frankly makes it a true watch berth. It also converts, the table drops down and this slides out kind of on a table and makes a double bed. Over the settee or over the watch berth is our half-hull model, still painted in jade mist green, which was the original color of the boat. It's a standard on Krogen Expresses. We like that it still commemorates its original paint. You notice the aft end of the boat, the overall shape is a bit like a lobster boat, so the aft end is relatively flat, has hard chines, and that's what allows the boat to overcome its hull speed and run as fast as 20 knots wide open. 16 knots all day is no problem. Nice keel there, provides stability and protection for the props. Forward, the boat carries its beam very well forward, and with the fine entry, the plumb stem, and the soft sections, she really does cut through the water very nicely. And it's that forward half that's basically full displacement that gives her, in part, gives her efficiency at slower speeds. So it's a terrific two-speed boat, if you will. Wonderful at 16 and fabulous all day on the water at 9 or 9.5, which is where we run the boat. 9.6, I think, is the hull speed. I forgot to mention that. Let's head up to the Flybridge, and we'll show you our most favorite place to run the boat. Transitioning from the pilot house to the Flybridge is easy up just a few comfortable stairs. And we love the fact that it is inside access, so if you need to transition underway, it's easily done, way better than going down and around or up a ladder somewhere. As you can see, the views from up here forward are fantastic, and again, whenever we get the chance, we're running from up here. The helm, just like the pilot house, is on the center line. We think that's the proper place. This boat has had, our newer boats all have stid chairs, but this owner upgraded to the stid chair. Originally, we were using a different helm chair up here. Same electronics, it's a duplicate set, the same chart plotters, with the same bow thruster, the same autopilot control head, again your depth display and your engine instrumentation up here. And here's the wired VHF radio here and the repeater from down below. So again, all the same controls up here, stereo speakers for the Fusion audio system, and a wired remote here for operating that. Nice big Danforth compass on the center line as well. Behind the helm chair, maybe you can trade places with me here, Anthony. You'll see a nice L settee. Under this part over here, to the starboard side is the propane locker. It's vented as it should be, and the rest of this is great for storage for things like canvas. The boat has a pretty extensive canvas package, a brand new cockpit cover to cover this whole area. When we leave the boat for any extended period of time, we also have a separate cover for the helm chair and the helm itself. So when we're running on a normal basis day after day, we typically will just bring the small covers up and put them in place. When we're storing the boat for longer periods of time, we'll use the bigger overall cockpit cover, or Flybridge cover, I'm sorry. Back here on the boat deck is another flexible space. Most owners will have a couple chairs here, wonderful place to drink coffee in the morning or just overall take in the better views. It allows access, obviously, to the dink. Beneath this cover is an 11-foot AB. It's a deluxe console tender with a very well-running Yamaha 25. She's not in fabulous shape, but she's super functional and ready to go for her next owner. The crane is a manual rotation, but it's power lift and loft, and the owner reports that she's very easy to launch. He does it by himself. Frankly, the current owner is used to sort of single-handing his boat because his mate is just a little less capable. So I didn't mention in the pilot house, this boat comes with a yacht controller. It's really the owner's favorite, probably his favorite accessory, because it does allow him to single-hand a boat of this size. So he very much appreciates that. He's also got a grill here. It's a true Barbie. It's an Australian-made propane gas grill, and he's cooked many a meal on it. Works very well. The boat, this particular boat, I think has about 22.6 clearance with the mast up, but the masts are very easy to lower on these boats. Pull this pin, and frankly, it's weight biased forward, so it's not trying to come down on you. You can either pull it down manually. I can do it by myself, or this owner has rigged up a block and tackle setup, so you can actually lower it with a block and tackle as well. And again, he does that by himself. So with the mast down, I can tell you comfortably you can get under a 17-foot bridge, or if you want to lower it all the way down, put the dink in the water and lower it flat, probably get under as little as a 15-foot bridge. So very flexible. The whole boat is low profile, which is, again, one of the signature features of the design, and also has terrific practical implications. I'm thinking we should head down and check out the accommodations. Just a few steps down from the pilot house, you'll discover the spacious accommodations. Down here you'll find 2 staterooms and 2 full heads. This is the day head or guest head. the two heads are frankly pretty similar. This there's a nice stand-up molded-in shower with a shower door, and it's plenty big even for somebody my size. Good access to the vacuum flush head and the Corian counters you can see as well. Behind me is access to the engine room, and later we'll go in there and show you the engine room, and you'll enjoy the space there. Also across is the washer dryer, and that's a vented dryer is the important thing. Dries clothes very well, and the washer of course works very well also. Storage above that for laundry supplies, detergent, and the like. Follow me into the guest stateroom, and you can see we have this room designed. This is how almost all of the 52s are. It's set up as a den or an office to give you good flexible space. I'll show you in a minute. You can sleep three in here, but when it's just the two of you on board, it serves as a great spot for a printer, a laptop, a place just to sit down and lay down, read a book, take a nap, and it's a very comfortable spot. Over here is a Pullman berth, and this drops down, and some would say this is just for kids, but I can attest to the fact that it'll hold a guy my size. There's a chain on this end to support it, and a strut on that end, and not too bad. The L settee slides out. You can see the rails down here and on the other side almost to the door, and makes something very close to a full berth. Below are some very big drawers for storage for blankets and clothes and the like. Nice hanging locker and a little overhead storage above with an outlet and a TV jack as well should you want to add one. This is great for keeping a dustbuster in with the plug in there. You can keep it charged. Below here is what we call our pump room or the guest stateroom bilge area. You'll find the air conditioners down there, the fresh water pump, hair strainers for your showers, and so on. This boat also has a raw water pump down there that can be tied into the freshwater pump or can substitute as a backup. So great access, and it keeps all of that out of the engine room. Let's go forward and we'll have a look at the master. So the master on this boat, as with all the Krogen Express 52s, it's a centerline queen that is again very spacious. Because of the standard centerline queen, you don't need to worry about custom linens or a custom mattress. If you don't like this one, easy to go get a replacement, get the exact one that you want. The boat, as I said earlier, carries her beam very far forward, and the advantage there is that I can get up to the head of the bed without climbing on it to change the sheets or make the bed. So much better than a lot of forward masters. Nice tables on either side, plenty of height here for sitting up and watching TV or reading books. And as you can see where I'm standing, we've got almost 7'4" of headroom. Nice port lights around and an overhead hatch as well, so it feels very light and airy in here. Plenty of storage, as with the rest of the boat. Hanging lockers on both sides. This is a short door, but the storage goes all the way behind it as well, so lots of storage there. Two dressers, one under the bed here, and you can see these drawers are huge. Lots of room there. And over here you've got 8 drawers and some shelf storage here as well behind that door. I mentioned earlier sitting up in bed and watching TV is very comfortable. This boat has, I think that's about a 42-inch or 47-inch TV, the biggest in any Krogen Express, with a sound bar and subwoofer. So you're ready to watch some great movies at night for sure. Let's have a look in the master stateroom, or the master head here real quickly. It's, again, very similar to the other one. Nice molded-in shower, almost identical. Another sink with a Corian top, mirrors and storage, and your vacuum flush head as well. So it's very, very usable and works great. Let's move on, and I think we'll probably go down and check out the engine room next, shall we? So 2 steps down, as you saw earlier, from the accommodations area, and we're into the stand-up engine room. I'm 6'4", and as you can see, I can stand almost straight up. It's better than 6 feet of headroom in here. We love the space between the engines. We love that we can walk in. You can actually access around to the outboard of the engines. There's plenty of room forward. So for a boat in the 50-foot range, it's really quite exceptional. The 440 Yanmars that are here, you can see, still look great. They run and sound great. With 3,500 hours, they're ready to go for quite some time. On the forward bulkhead here, we can see a fuel transfer pump, which makes it really easy to move fuel from one side to the other with a simple flip of the switch. Ray cores, big ray cores for both engines, a pair on either side. A nice reverso oil change system, which is set up for both engines, both transmissions, and the generator. And then we have a freshwater washdown, shelf storage, a big blower above on the starboard side, and lots of storage again over the engines as well. Continuing around, we talked earlier about the power conditioner, the static frequency converter by AC Systems, and there she is, again, still very functional. Over on the other side, I want to show you the fuel polishing system, not a Krogen Express standard, but this boat is equipped that way. And he's got 2-micron filters in there, and was pretty diligent about going ahead and polishing his fuel when he took it on. So maybe that's a bit of a testament to the boat itself, and the engines still running as well as they are. Going back this way just a little bit, Anthony, is that I want to show you brand new mixing elbows there. So those were just done. They probably got 20 hours on them or something. So it's a 10-year plus item, but since we're a little beyond that, they were due. Good for the next owner for a period of time. Of course, C-Fire system up there. Also, notice that the water tank has a sight glass, same as the fuel tanks. Makes it as easy as can be to know where you are in water. There's 370 gallons total, about 185 gallons a side. Fuel capacity is 600 gallons, 300 gallons a side on this boat. Later models have a little bit more, but with 600 gallons and the efficiency of this particular boat, you're probably going to get 1,500 miles at slower speeds. If you want to throttle down to 8 knots or so and be a trawler, probably 400 if you're going to run 16 knots. But good range for whatever you're looking to do. Coastal cruising, island hopping, hitting the Great Loop. Terrific Great Loop boat. More than one owner has done the loop in these boats. Let's look aft if we can, Anthony. I'll crawl back there, and maybe you can. We'll swap places, and I'll show you what's in store back here. There is a hatch over my head. Let me see if I can get it open. So the hatch, we're now in the galley area, and so when we're working back here, this hatch affords us some extra comfort, extra headspace. The 12 kilowatt Northern Lights is right behind me, and most of the services are in this section, so the removal of the front panel makes that very easy. The only thing that you'll have to take the panel off to the it's the port side of the boat. To the right of the panel accesses the impeller, and it's frankly on the front end of this, so also very, very easy to access. Ray cores for the genset as well, a dedicated battery for the generator, and I want to definitely talk about the Aquadrive system. This big, I call it a collar, the thrust collar, takes the thrust from the propellers for the boat, so there is a thrust bearing on the backside here, and the shafts drive into the collar. In between the collar and the engine, the transmission, is an intermediate shaft with a couple of CV joints, and what that does, it allows the engine to be softer mounted, and so it'll transmit less weight into the boat. The softer mounts are appropriate because they're not having to absorb the thrust, and it's probably about the best design feature that you can include on a boat to keep it quiet and lower vibration levels. This boat, the shafts were just recently out, new cutlass bearings, new dripless shaft seals, and so again, she's very much ready to go for the long haul. Let's head for the bow, and we'll call this a wrap. See you up there. As you can see, it's super easy to access the side decks from the pilot house. The side decks are very wide. The railing is nice and high for comfort. Extra handles here as you walk forward. The spring cleats, I'm going to walk back just a little bit. The spring cleats are in the toe rail where you don't have to worry about popping them with popping an ankle or a toe. They're super easy to access. With two of them in almost any situation, you've got what you need to properly spring the boat. Moving forward, again, very easy access. Just one more step here, and accessing the bow is quite easy. I want to show you how this boat is set up from an anchoring and ground tackle perspective. The single spade anchor is mounted off to the port side. There is room here for the birds to make a difference on your boat, unfortunately, but that space is available to the starboard side for a second anchor if you decide to add one. You can see the cleats and the fair leads or chocks are very easy to access. We have windlass controls up here. There are also windlass controls at both helms and on the yacht controller. So the current owner will often anchor by himself using the yacht controller to nudge the boat fore or aft and side to side, and he can operate the windlass directly from the yacht controller. There's also freshwater and raw water washdown over there, and all the ground tackle is accessed through a ship's quality hatch, a nice Freeman hatch. There's a ladder to get down there, storage in there for your washdown hose. You could store some lines and fenders in there as well. It's big enough to, it's person size, bob size, frankly. It's got a divider down the middle, so it's partitioned. If you wanted to add a second anchor, you can keep your ground tackle separated as well. So terrific setup, and again, reminiscent of the overall quality of the boat. I want to kind of point out, looking from here aft, you'll notice how low profile the boat is. The Flybridge is down below the pilot house. It's not stacked tall. That obviously is both part of the look. You can even look at the one next door to us and catch the overall design. It looks, again, reminiscent. The inspiration was the commuters of the 20s with the plumb stem and the low profile. And she's just really a boat that turns heads wherever she goes. And we know you'll absolutely love her. So we look forward to hearing from you. You can call me at 404-786-4514. The number will be on your screen there. Send me an email at bob@krogenexpress.com, and find us 24/7 at www.krogenexpress.com. I very much look forward to hearing from you. This boat is ready to go, and please call me and let's do a personal showing. Have a terrific day. Hope to see you on the water in a Krogen Express.